Guys, my name's Dean. I'm a senior technician here at the Animal Welfare Centre at Moulton College. I thought over the next few weeks it'd be a really nice idea to start giving some virtual tours of the resources here, so that our current students can keep up to date with what's going on, but also our future students get an idea of what they can expect when everything returns to normal in the future. Now obviously in the present climate, we are taking it very seriously. Our distancing from each other, and the technician team are in on a daily basis but work in separate shifts to make sure that there is no close contact and that all the animals here are looked after on a daily basis. So we house 137 different species of animal here, lots of different areas to look at. And over the coming days and weeks, we are going to do some live events as well, so people get to see some live feeding. And we'll also continue these virtual tours so you can see the sort of resources that are available here. So to start off with then, this is our Africa area. We house African species in this area, and these are our student favourites, our lovely group of meerkats. Here's one just there. So our meerkat mob consists of 9 individuals, and they are busy all day every day. So these guys are serviced by students on a regular basis, and students get involved in all of the servicing of these species, and the sort of things that they would be doing is AM and PM servicing, so changing waters, skipping out, visually checking all of our animals, and then doing multiple feeds throughout the day as well. So our meerkats get lots of different feeds throughout the day at multiple times, mostly consisting of insects, which they love, and that keeps them busy as well, rooting around and searching for those all day. So we're going to carry on and go a bit further up, where hopefully our African porcupines will be out. I have just fed them, so I'm hoping that we'll get to see them. Here you go. So these are our 2 lovely African porcupines. These are both females, they're sisters. They've been with us here now for around 8 years, and they're really good actually. They're quite interactive, so they come out a few times a day, they get fed twice a day. Students again are working with them and servicing them. They get lots of fruit and veg, so root veg, so you can see that this one here is eating parsnip. But they're also good chewers. So obviously they are large rodents. They have very big teeth and they chew. So lots of branches and browse for them on a daily basis to make sure that they're keeping those teeth in good condition. Here's one down here. Oh, can't quite see that because of the sun. See if we can get a bit closer. Enjoying their breakfast. So though it's quiet here at the moment with no students about, obviously all of our species are serviced by the technicians throughout the day, so they're getting to see people still. It is a bit bizarre for them though, so they're used to lots of students around all the time every day. So what we do to counteract that and keep their lives busy and do lots of enrichment and training with them as well. Actually, just before students finished, we did some. They did some really good training with our meerkats, and we had a student group that have been training our meerkats to crate train. So that essentially is target training the meerkats to go into a crate so that they can then be safely removed. And we have quite a few individuals in this group now that are well trait trained, and students have really got involved with that, which is nice to see. This enclosure behind me is our rock hyrax and lovebirds, but unfortunately they're all inside at the moment, so we can't see them. What we're going to do then is we're going to head round to another area of the Animal Welfare Centre. So just round the corner here is our what we call our main side. It's got 3 different animal areas that students get to work in. So we've got our ACI centre, which is amphibians, crustaceans and invertebrates. We'll have a look in here first, shall we? There are some tarantulas in here, so just be aware of that. I'll show you right at the end when we get into this room. So this is our ACI centre, so amphibians, crustaceans and invertebrates. Students get to work with all the species in here. They handle the majority of them, and they get involved in the setup and the maintenance of all the enclosures as well. So on the side here, this is where we've got our stick insect species. You see some pink wing stick insects in here. These are a really nice species actually. So as they grow and they become adult, and you can see an adult one, that's the brown one at the back there hanging down, they grow lovely pink wings, sometimes called the fairy stick insect. We've got giant fawny stick insect nymphs at the moment, so they're youngsters. You can see one on that leaf there. And our New Guinea giant spiny stick insects. It's a really good example of their camouflage here. You see him on that branch, and there's another one coming down here. And then we've got the Indian stick insects, which everyone has probably had in the past. They're quite a common insect pet to have. Some of the amphibians that we house in this room. We've got some red-eyed tree frogs. So these guys are more nocturnal. Oh, he's just opened his eyes just for the camera. Look at that. But they will wake up during the day as well, particularly when they're disturbed. They're such a beautiful frog. And then there's another one over on the glass over there. Got a newt species down here, so fired-bellied newt. And our budgets frog just down here. We have a group of Taylor's bug-eyed frogs in here. Let's see if we can spot them. They're quite small frogs. There's just one down, poking his head over that rock there. Now these guys are really good at breeding actually, so we're hoping to get some more youngsters from them this year. And then we've got our African clawed frog in this enclosure here. There he is. So this guy's been at the college for, it must be around 15 years now. The amount of students he's probably seen in that time. And then we've got things like horned frogs. Asian painted bullfrogs. So the crustacean species we've got in here are our middle tank of hermit crabs. So these are quite a fun species to have, if we can spot them anywhere. Oh, they're all hunkered down at the moment. They're obviously hiding away. And then we get to our invertebrate species. So as well as the stick insects that we showed you earlier, we then have things like scorpions, assassin bugs, sun beetles. We've got lots of different cockroach species. So tiger hissing cockroaches. There you go. We've got millipede species, and then we also have tarantula species as well. So the tarantula species that we have are Chilean rose tarantulas. They tend to be quite docile species, so students can handle them. So we've got one just coming up and sat down there in that flower pot. Another one over in that flower pot. A bit of reflection on this glass, unfortunately. And then one over at the back there. So students do get to handle the tarantulas. We are very careful about that, and there's additional PPE that students have to wear. But with our teaching staff, students get to handle them, and they get involved in all of that as well. So when students are working in this room, not only are they servicing all the animals and making sure that they have everything they need, they also get involved with all the diets as well, feeding regimes on a daily basis. So we'll leave this room now and come back onto the corridor. We're going to head into our rodent centre now. So the rodent centre is set up and designed to replicate more of that pet shop style industry. So those bank style systems that you would find in there. We have lots of different species in here. Everything does get handled. So students are involved on quite a hands-on basis with these species. Students need to learn how to correctly handle the species, but also how to do health checks, etc. on each species and make sure that they're okay on a daily basis. So on this side, we've got all of our Syrian hamsters. They're really good for handling. So they're the sort of species lots of people may have had when they were younger. They've all been fed, unfortunately, and all gone back to bed. And then we also have more exotic species, and let's see if we can get in here. So we've got mouse-like hamsters in here. You can just see a group of them, they're sleeping there. We've got Arabian spiny mice. Our lovely Mongolian gerbils. These are really active, these guys. They're really nice to watch. And then on this side, we've got our mice species. So fancy mice, and then we've got dwarf hamsters as well. We've got our chinchillas, our parachinchilla down in this corner. So this corner enclosure gives them height as well. Oh, he's just run away. And then the enclosure behind us is our pygmy dormice, so African pygmy dormice enclosure. And then this little guy down here is our Madagascan tenrex. So he's a really nice guy. He's called Pickles. He's a firm favourite of students, but he's still quite sleepy at the moment. So it might be nice in the future to do a handling session with him so people get to see him a bit closer. So you go back out of this room and we head over to our aquatics centre. It's quite loud in here, so I might have to talk up a little bit. So this is our aquatics centre. It's a really nice room. It's got lots of different systems in place, lots of different species in here as well. So we have cold water, we've got tropical water fish. Students are involved in all the water changes, filter maintenance, water testing. It's quite a complex room with lots of different systems in place. And then we've got the larger display tanks that you might find in aquariums and zoos. These are our lovely Lake Malawi cichlids. They're a really nice species to watch as well. And then we've got our more zoo-based turtle pool here. So we've got Asian yellow pond turtles in this turtle pool. We've got an adult in there and some hatchlings. So these are an endangered species and we bred them at the college a few years back. So it's really nice to be able to show students that. In this enclosure we've got our Anderson salamanders. Just see the tail of one in there. Oh, and there's his head as well. We've got two in here. We've got a male and we've got a female. There's a tail of the female just there. So these guys are critically endangered. So they come from Mexico, so very similar to axolotls. They come from lakes and rivers in Mexico, which unfortunately pollution is causing a big threat to them. So it'd be really nice if we could potentially start breeding them here at the centre. So that's our first two areas of our Animal Welfare Centre. I hope you enjoyed the virtual tour. The next two areas that we'll look at are Exotic Species Centre and our Reptile Centre. So make sure you do look back for when we're going to post that up online. It's really nice at the moment that we're able to get on the unit and start doing some online content for you guys. And if you keep checking back on Facebook and have a look at what else we might be doing, I know some other members of the team are going to be doing some live feeds at the centre as well, which I think will be really enjoyable. So thank you very much. Goodbye.